me tender. Sailor. Love me sweet.
I'm going to park those cars. I gotta reach for the stars. You got my head spinning round like a frog in a blender.
People used to come here to learn about him, to dress like him, move like him, to be him. If that's not worship, I don't know what is.
As hundreds of Elvises showed up, but sadly, not enough to break the record. The good news is they had a lot of fun trying. So the record for the largest gathering of Elvises stands at 895 impersonators.
我的目的，我的理想，我就是想把猫王在香港翻身，这个是我的。
You're a hunk of burning love. You're a hunk of burning love.
Wait a minute. Something wrong with my lip.
Man, I smell so nice. Man, I gotta have some of that.
I said, what are we going to have for breakfast this morning? He said, fried peanut butter and banana sandwich. And I looked at him. I said, what? He said, fried peanut butter and banana sandwich. I said, I never heard of it. If he wanted them in the morning when he woke up, I would have to fix them. If he wanted them at 2 o'clock in the morning, I would have to still fix them for him. Whenever he get a taste for him, he'd call down, and that's what he wanted.
Now? Okay.
Greetings, film connoisseurs, and welcome to the No Flimflam Flimflam Bites series, where we explore what happens when the entertainment we consume with our eyes becomes the entertainment we consume with our mouths. Today's episode is inspired by the recent Baz Luhrmann biographical film on the life and music of one Elvis Presley. We're going to teach you how to make his favorite sandwich, the infamous fried peanut butter and banana sandwich. We're going to talk about his life and the film, and we're going to teach you how to survive this epic United Statesian monstrosity of a sandwich. Cuisine experts know that when I say United Statesian monstrosity, I'm talking about food that is absolutely disgusting, but probably delicious. Well, let's get to the kitchen. This being an Elvis-themed recipe, you want to make sure to get your guitar case ready to go. And here's everything we need for the recipe. We got peanut butter. Creamy might work better, but this is what I had. Bananas, they're just getting ripe and ready to go. Sliced bread. I chose Hawaiian because some sources say that's what Elvis preferred. Over here, optional things specific to our recipe today. Light brown sugar to help caramelize the bananas. Cinnamon, and that's going to add a little bit of heat, a little bit of spice to the caramelized bananas. And bacon. Again, the last three items are optional for this version of the recipe. You can simplify by leaving them out. Let's lock it up and take everything up to the kitchen. But, am I forgetting something? What? I don't know. Let's just go, all right?
This ain't Elvis the Pelvis in Oleo, it's the king, captured in real dairy butter.
Alright, I have preheated the oven to 200 degrees Celsius. I am going to cook this bacon until it is nice and crisp. Take about 15 minutes, give or take a few. While that's in there, I'm going to use the oven also to toast the bread. Want to watch it carefully, keep it short. We only want lightly toasted bread. That's just to help spread the peanut butter and keep it firm while we fry it in the pan. Now, some people who do the bacon version like to pan fry their bacon and then use the grease to cook the sandwich later. But I have it on good authority that Elvis loved his butter.
Then I take them and cut them, put them on the platter and take them back to him. And he said, that's what I want, that's right.
Full stick of butter per sandwich. I'm not gonna go that crazy. But I want the butter flavor in the bread. Also, I'm gonna do a plain version without the bacon, so I don't want any of the bacon grease to get mixed in with the plain one. And while we're waiting for this bacon to finish in the oven, let's have a little chat about the life and film of Elvis Presley.
Why, Elvis? Why, it's the No Flimflam Film Fan channel after all, and we have a film to discuss. One by famous Australian director Baz Luhrmann, known for such works as Moulin Rouge, The Great Gatsby, and Australia. So Baz Luhrmann wrote, directed, and produced a biographical film on the life of Elvis Presley, starring Austin Butler of Nickelodeon and Disney Channel fame in the titular role as Elvis Presley. The film released in 2022 to generally favorable reviews from critics and very favorable reviews from the then living relatives of Elvis Presley. It received fairly significant attention in various award committees, including the Academy Awards, with nominations for Best Picture and Best Actor for Austin Butler's role as Elvis, among several other nominations. To be perfectly honest, however, I never had any intention of watching this film. Oh, I'm not against it. I just questioned, why does it exist and who is it for? But then there I was on a flight from Saigon to North America, nearly an entire day trapped in an airplane without any sleep, and I'd completely run out of things I wanted to watch, so I flipped on Baz Luhrmann's Elvis, and boy am I glad I did! A lot of surprises, especially in the second act where the perspective completely shifts, and you're not watching Elvis anymore, you are Elvis. It's so amazing. You have to see it for yourself. And then you have the final exam in ethnomusicology tomorrow, and you're going to fail law school if you don't pass this exam. But you don't remember signing up for ethnomusicology. And why is there ethnomusicology in law school? And you're just standing there naked in front of the entire class, and nobody seems to notice. I can't find my pencil because I don't have pockets. And there's Grandma just standing there in the middle of the classroom with that hamster who ran away in 4th grade. Entire class is in Spanish, of course, because law school is on the moon, Luna as we call it.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
Sándwiches de mantequilla de maní, los sándwiches fritos, maní, mantequilla de maní y banana. ¿Cómo podría yo masticar los sándwiches si no tengo dientes? Estoy perdiendo mis dientes porque es un sueño.
You're looking for trouble?
For any young folk out there who don't know, Elvis Presley was a musician and performer known as the King of Rock and Roll, because, much like any political monarchy, there were no free and fair elections. His music career lasted from the early 1950s into the late 1970s, when he unfortunately passed away.
Or didn't.
At the tragically young age of 42, from a combination of heavy consumption of the sandwich we're going to show today, incredible amount of stress and pressure, and a bevy of sketchy prescription drugs pushed on him by his promoters to keep him performing.
Quick sandwich aside here. Yeah, we're talking fried peanut butter banana sandwiches today, but let me just say that Austin Butler and his role as Elvis, well, he's a real dream sandwich, if you know what I mean. Let's see how he fits in on the chart.
Elvis Presley rose to fame by being a white man who sang like a black man.
He's white. What do you think, Dad? He's white.
That may sound flippant, but it is central to the story, both in the film and real life. Growing up in Mississippi and Memphis, Tennessee, Elvis admired the music of artists like Big Boy Crudup and later Ray Charles. And he was known, as a child, to sneak into the back of black churches just to hear the music. So, when he started making music on his own, he quite naturally played in the style of the people he respected most. Elvis was known to make statements praising black artists and their influence on his style. Although later disproven rumors of racist remarks dogged his reputation throughout his life and afterward, he was known to credit black artists and shun the title of King of Rock and Roll, saying that the people who inspired him did it better and much earlier than himself. Did he copy and appropriate music by lesser-known artists? Yes, absolutely. But he also didn't deny their influence. Elvis came of age in a time period U.S. history books refer to as the Civil Rights Era, but any honest onlooker would refer to as the American Apartheid regime.
Until that day comes, keep us restless and dissatisfied. Keep us working and walking and fighting for freedom. This prayer we ask in Jesus' name.
Interracial harmony wasn't just difficult, it was illegal in much of the country. For conservative, religious, and political leaders, it wasn't enough to keep racial groups separated. They wanted a completely isolated and tiered system with no mixing in between.
Well, it's just not things we're used to down here. I mean, they come in and they sit down, and we're not used to them sitting down beside us, because I wasn't raised with them. I never have lived with them, and I'm not going to start now.
And the always easily angered, good, upstanding white parents of suburbia who, let's be honest, still to this day haven't found anything good to do with their free time. Well, they weren't just concerned their children might make black friends. They were terrified that anything considered black culture might corrupt and demoralize their innocent little white babies. Starting out in a time before TV sets were in a majority of U.S. households, it actually took some time to convince people that Elvis was not black. In a very early radio interview, the station asked him about his high school, for example, in order to signal to the segregation-era audience that he couldn't be black because he didn't go to a black school. Some radio stations just outright blocked his music, not caring about the color of his skin, but rather that he simply didn't sing the way a proper white man was supposed to sing.
Tutti Frutti, and here to sing it in person is the man who made it a hit, one of America's greatest recording stars, Pat Boone.
In the early 20th century, black musicians would sometimes get categorized as race music, making it easy for segregationist stations and venues to deny them playtime. Denying basic goods and services to people based solely on the color of their skin was not just allowed under the law, it was enshrined in churches and political rallies as the noble right of white patriotic Christian Americans. So yes, for a lot of people, finding out that a white Christian boy was making a name for himself on the radio by adopting the style of black musicians was shocking. It was shocking, and for the villain capitalist of the story, it was very, very profitable. Colonel Tom Parker, played in the film by Tom Hanks and a mountain of prosthetics, recognized that this up-and-coming white performer could take the popularity of black music places where it hadn't gone before. Why could Elvis do that? Simple: segregation. Yes, of course he was talented and handsome, but he also was legally allowed to perform anywhere he wanted and wouldn't face the same obstacles that a black performer would. And so began one of the most infamous manager-artist relationships in U.S. history, before Elvis was even old enough to vote. The story is one you've heard before if you have any familiarity with the music industry.
We sell almost 10 million albums. I could have made this much working full-time at Starbucks.
Something isn't adding up. Blues getting paid, promoters are getting paid.
Enterprising capitalist finds bigger and bigger opportunities for a performer who draws bigger and bigger crowds. Yet no matter how popular that performer becomes, the manager always takes a wildly unfair cut of the profits and exerts a maniacal amount of control behind the scenes. I don't have much more to say. The conflicts I've discussed are themes explored in the film and true to Elvis's life. If you want to know more, you can watch the film for yourself, and you can also check out my research links that I'll provide in the video description below. I'd really like to go make that crazy sandwich now, but before I do, I have one final item to talk about. If you like Elvis, you're gonna love the real royalty of rock and roll, like Little Richard, Ruth Brown, Fats Domino, Chuck Berry, Ike Turner, and Louis Jordan. Fats Domino, by the way, would probably be the actual king of rock and roll if it were up to Elvis. And I simply cannot talk about rock and roll without mentioning the godmother of rock and roll, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, a gospel singer and electric guitar pioneer who laid down the first recorded riffs recognizable as rock and roll years before the term rock and roll even existed. Alrighty, let's get cooking. For the caramelized banana, melt 2 tablespoons of butter on low to medium heat. Careful not to heat up the butter too much and scorch it. Once melted, add 1 tablespoon brown sugar and stir into the butter until it disappears. Then, add the sliced banana and cook for a few minutes. Flipping at least once to make sure both sides are cooked. Once caramelized, pour over the top of the slice of toast you've spread the peanut butter on, then add 2 strips of bacon. You can trim excess off the side to make for easier pan frying, but be careful to watch out for bacon scavengers. By the way, here's what the regular, non-caramelized banana version looks like. We're going to fry both of them. Melt 2 tablespoons of butter into a pan and use that to fry the sandwich. It doesn't take very long, just a few minutes on each side. And there you have it, the fried peanut butter banana sandwich.
All right, and here we are with the completed products. We have the basic fried peanut butter banana sandwich here and the deluxe version with caramelized bananas and bacon here. I want to try the basic version first to get a threshold for what to expect, and then we'll see how the deluxe compares. Got a nice cross section there. Ooh. Very filling in a pleasant way. It just feels very wholesome in a way. That's the first word that comes to mind. Wholesome, as in whole meal in a sandwich. It just fills you up pretty good. Yeah, I'd recommend it. You can play around with this one. Have some fun with it. It's all right as is. I think cinnamon would do very well with it. Maybe some honey or maple syrup would be very nice. Now for the deluxe version. That is, is quite the mess. Okay. I really thought I was going to come hard against caramelized bananas. Bananas are sweet enough as it is, but that extra brown sugar, you could replace that with honey, you could replace it with maple syrup. Yeah, it brings some color to the situation that was much needed. And the bacon, yeah, the bacon really rounds it out. I feel like I can't take another bite, but I don't want to stop taking bites. I really can't recommend this sandwich, but also I wholeheartedly recommend it if your heart's in good shape. Which brings me to my next point. How are you gonna survive this? I took one bite of this and man, my body needs to be prepared if I'm gonna take any more bites. What's the damage of these sandwiches and how can you deal with it?
Cause of overweight. Something wrong, isn't there, Bill? Yes, Bill, you're getting a stomachache. There it is again. Now, why does Bill have a stomachache? He didn't eat anything bad today, did he?
Here's an easy homemade digestive tonic I like to make to prevent indigestion. Half a tablespoon apple cider vinegar, a squeeze of citrus, and a can of unsweetened sparkling water. And that's it. I take this before or during a greasy meal, and it helps a lot. When I make it for people in my household who can't handle their sour very well, I like to add a little treat at the bottom.
Yesterday's stomachache is forgotten.
Vegetables. The leafy, bulky kinds permit more and larger servings.
Here we have a lovely bowl of assorted greens. Very healthy. You're going to want to eat this every day in preparation and recovery from the sandwich. Now, some people really struggle to eat their greens, and maybe they'll put them in a salad or a smoothie to try to make it easier to consume them. I'm going to show you a technique that's even simpler. Anybody can do this. You'll get your greens in very quickly and very easily.
personal message for all of us on this important subject.
I believe to be most important, and that is the subject of physical fitness. And I think that mental and physical health, mental and physical vigor go hand in hand. This is a challenge for us all. Children, boys and girls, college students, mothers and fathers. And all of us, I think, should welcome it. I hope all of you will join in a great national effort to build a strong and better America. And better America.
This fine flexing movement is called elephant walk. It's done best in trunks.
I am not going to shock my body by trying to burn through all of the calories from this awful sandwich in one day. No, I'm going to get a routine going, about 20 minutes a day. Got to lace up my running shoes, but I'm not going to be running. Not going to be walking either. I will be burning about twice as many calories as walking by engaging in an official Olympic sport that anyone can learn and certainly nobody has ever looked silly doing. There are two basic rules to keep in mind in order to keep race walking separate from just walking or racing. First rule, one foot always touches the ground. When you run, oftentimes both feet lift off. No, one foot always on the ground. Second rule, when your front foot hits, this knee stays straight until your body has crossed over. And that's it. Second thought, someone might actually see me doing this. I'm just gonna jog.
Please consume all Elvis-based snacks responsibly, in moderation. And hey, why not give a like and subscribe to help keep this channel going? This is our third full food entertainment episode. I'll throw out a few links here at the end, as Sister Rosetta Tharpe, a favorite of Elvis for sure, plays us out.